And welcome back to Hannity, where we continue live from the Republican National Convention. We are in Tampa, Florida. Our next guest was once thought to be at the top of Mitt Romney's vice presidential shortlist and has been given the honor of introducing the governor before his acceptance speech tomorrow night. And we're joined by Florida Senator Marco Rubio is here with us. Senator, how are you?
Good to see you again. Welcome to Florida. I know you've been here a lot.
No, this is my second home.
I know it is.
I want to live here. There's no state taxes like New York.
We want you here. We've got to figure that out.
All right, so you were up, as I understand it, to the pretty much the last day. You were on that short list. Were you ready to go?
Look, as I said, during the time I wouldn't even discuss the process, but I was just honored that I was even mentioned in the conversation. And Governor Romney was gracious enough to call me that night and inform me that he would be making an announcement the next day, and he made a great choice. And we're going to see that tonight. The American people tonight are going to get to know the Paul Ryan that some of us that work with him in Washington know, a serious policy thinker, an exciting young guy involved in American politics, and really a fantastic leader. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, well, one of the things he's talking about, he said, look, here is our pledge. We're not going to duck the tough choices. We're going to lead. We're not going to blame others. We will take responsibility. We'll not try and replace founding principles. We'll reapply them.
Yeah, that's right.
All going to be said in the speech.
Well, that's exactly right. You heard that. When that started last night with Chris Christie, where he described what leadership was. And he had a great line where he said, Mr. President, leaders don't follow polls, they change them. Yeah. And that means, go out to the American people, explaining to them what the stakes are, and bringing them along with you. We're not getting that these days.
Paul Ryan is also going to say that we have to do it now. There's a sense of urgency. One of the things, as I've gotten to know you over the years, you have this sense of urgency as well, that if we don't get this done now, we may not be able to recover.
Well, we have a clock right on that wall, $15,988 billion. It's going to hit $16 trillion during this during this convention. That's outrageous. That's larger than our economy. What about Medicare is going bankrupt? Anyone who's in favor of leaving Medicare the way it is right now is in favor of bankrupting it. These are not difficult issues to solve if we solve them. If we don't solve them, they get harder and uglier.
What happened to the candidate Obama in 2008 that called George Bush irresponsible and unpatriotic for $4 trillion of debt in 8 years, and now over $5 trillion in that period of time? What happened to that guy?
Well, look, Barack Obama 2.0 is a very different candidate than the person that ran 4 years ago on multiple fronts. I actually know some people that had never voted for a Democrat that voted for him because he was new and he was going to elevate American politics and it was going to be high-minded. I mean, that's long gone. You've seen in speaker after speaker tonight has remind us, this is a president that deliberately pits Americans against each other for political gain. That Barack Obama's long gone.
What do you make about that? Because there's the class warfare which we have chronicled. There is a war on women, old people, rich versus poor, old versus young. And, of course, we had the comments of Joe Biden and the mayor of Los Angeles. He actually said you just can't trot out a brown face or a Spanish surname and expect people that they're going to vote for your party or your candidate. He said that yesterday. He'll play a prominent role next week.
First of all, I don't know who's expecting that. Republicans, like everything else, we believe we have to earn things, including people's votes and their support. We have an economic message that I think especially appeals to minorities and especially to Americans of Hispanic descent. I would remind the mayor and others that the folks that we featured in this convention, by the way, happen to be elected. They're not manufactured. They're real. We have a governor, Susana Martinez, that will speak tonight in New Mexico, Republican, Hispanic woman. Brian Sandoval, you just from Nevada. You just heard from Luis Fortuño, the governor of Puerto Rico. I mean, these are real fantastic. Ted Cruz in Texas. And myself, obviously, in Florida. We're excited about this. Alan West in Florida. And so here's the bottom line. I think that these are folks that represent our party because what it shows is that our message appeals to a broad spectrum of Americans. We have to do a better job of communicating that, and we are.
What about the president, though, running that campaign?
Yeah, because you can't run on your record. What are you going to say to people? Can the president go to the American people and say you're better off than you were 4 years ago?
Doesn't it, when all is said and done, doesn't this election come down to that? Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? $5 trillion in debt ago, and can you afford $5 trillion more in debt?
Well, it comes down to that, but this one's even deeper because it's such a different view of government's role in our economy. The president believes that if the government is more involved in our economy, we will be more prosperous. That has never worked anywhere it's been tried. Mitt Romney and we here in the Republican Party believe that the economy grows when people take their own money and invest it in starting a new business or expanding an existing business.
Let me ask you this. Assuming that Governor Romney wins, Paul Ryan is the vice president, that the Republicans take over the Senate and control in the House. How hard is it to get to what we all think we need, which is a balanced budget? That seems like a very difficult task. Or do you think the American people are ready for the serious, tough choices that it would take to get there?
And hence the purpose of the Chris Christie speech last night. That's what leaders do. Leaders come to the American people and explain to them, this is what's going on. Here are the options that we have. This is the option we think is the best one. Will you follow us? Yeah. That's what leadership was about. That's what leadership was at every era of our country that's kept us great.
All right, I watch you walk around this convention hall. You are a bit of a rock star. I don't know if it's because it's your home turf.
Well, they're Republicans, of course.
No, it's not just Republicans. It's you. I mean,
well, we're in Florida. These are a lot of folks that were very nice to me, and it's great to see all these folks.
What do you think about Governor Christ?
Oh, well, look, my initial response is I told you so, I mean, that's why I ran 2 years ago, because I knew he wasn't going to stand up for the principles that our party should be about. But at the end of the day, look, he's running out of parties to run under.
We got to go. Senator, great to see you.
And